But our faith does not rest merely in definitions. It rests in the living God who acts in time and history to reveal himself. Moses, long ago, challenged Israel with this idea that there's only one God. Time and time again, he pointed them to the Lord their God. When God brought them out of Egypt, when they saw the armies of Pharaoh crushed in the Red Sea, as they gathered on the other side, Miriam celebrated and sung the Lord who has destroyed the horse and his rider in the sea, and said, there is no other God like our God. And then when they gathered before God at Mount Sinai, the first commandment is, you shall have no other gods before me. And so God right away asserts his claim to being alone worthy of worship. And just before they're to enter into the land of Canaan, where they're going to face all these different gods, Moses says, hear, O Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your strength, all your mind. And so, from ancient times, faith in God as being one God has sustained the people of God. And it's been important to them in the circumstances of life. The people of Israel, God's elect, were to go through uncertain times. As Isaiah looked to the future, he saw trouble ahead. What will keep his people secure in the midst of these conflicts? When the Assyrians come in and the Babylonians threaten and export the people of God, what will secure their faith? It will be a knowledge that their God is the true God, even in the midst of these turmoils. How can they hold to this faith? Would they not say, well, their God failed them because he allowed them to be overcome by the Assyrians or the Babylonians? God shows from the very start that he is the one who's ordained all these things that take place. That he's arranged these things for his own purposes. And so it is not as though he's being conquered by the Babylonian Marduk with the Assyrian gods, but rather he alone is God. And he governs the nations. The Assyrians are the rod of his hand. And so his elect should not be afraid. He is their king and redeemer. The Lord is his name. He is the first and the last. And so he can bear up his people and redeem them, even in difficult circumstances. So Isaiah points his elect to the nature of their God, that he is one, that there is no other God. They need not fail in their faith, but they may remain strong and true. In the New Covenant, it's not as though we are entirely escaped from this challenge of many gods. In the Gospel accounts, Jesus warned his people against false gods, idols. He warned against mammon. You cannot serve two masters, God and mammon. The Apostle Paul warned the people of God about various idols and urged them to follow the true God. They faced challenges when they went into the marketplace and went to find some bread or some meat. And some of the meats were sacrificed to idols. And so they had to work through their perception, their understanding of what these idols were. Were they real or not? And Paul will make the point that they are not real. There's only one true God. And so Paul aligns himself with Moses long ago. There's only one God. Paul, like Isaiah and like Moses as well, will show that this oneness of God does not keep us from perceiving his multiplicity. He is the Father and the Son. He is God and he is Lord. And so Paul will help us see that, and we don't have time. We'll look at that, Lord willing, next week. But there is this one God who rules over all. He is unique among gods, and he's simple in his being. That is to say, as a spirit. He is not composed of parts. He does not have a head or ears or a mouth. He is a spirit. And so we can say, God is light. God is love. And all these things are true of God, and God is true of them. But the church always has to face idols. There's continually a conflict with idols. In the early church years, there was this constant conflict with the Roman gods. And when the Christian faith developed in the early church, in the early period of Roman history, many of the defenders of the pagan gods began attacking Christianity, saying that they were either atheists and that they denied the other gods, or they were godless people. And so Tertullian and finally Augustine rose up to defend the Christian faith. And Augustine, in his great work, The City of God, walked the people through the various pagan gods and showed how foolish they were, much like Isaiah in his satire. And in many ways, Augustine broke the hold of paganism over Europe of that time. And as Christianity has advanced, this paganism has declined. But in recent years, these things have risen once more. We see it in the adulation of the state, with the French Revolution, where the state becomes the god of the people, when people trust in the elite to guide the nation and provide for all their needs. We see that today when faith is placed in the government to solve all your problems. Do you need somebody to take care of your children? Send them to the schools. Do you need someone to take care of your health? Send them to the government. They'll provide for your health. The government becomes a super nanny taking care of every problem that we have. The Apostle John warned about faith in the beast, the state. We are faced with idols. We need to flee from them and place our faith in God alone. There's one God, the only true God, who has revealed himself in Jesus Christ. And that's the one whom we must trust. Isaiah pointed God's people to the fact that there is only one God, so that their faith would be secure in whatever circumstances they faced. Moses pointed them to the one response that was impending upon them. If there is only one God, and all other gods are idols, then you should not be confused with who you should serve. You should love this God with all that you are. The ethics of the Christian faith arise out of this fact that there is only one God. And love for God and for your neighbor arises out of this one source. Polytheism provides for many gods and many ethics, many different conflicting points of view. There cannot be unity there. But in Christian faith, in the God who's revealed in the Scriptures, there's unity and faith and security for the future.